Hi viewers, welcome you once again to Micro Learning. This is again Shailaja with you. So previously we have seen regarding inflation. What is inflation? Inflation is supposed to be general rise in price level. We saw the different types of inflation depending upon the speed, depending upon the wages, depending upon the demand and supply. All this we have seen in the previous class. Today we are going to learn three new concepts. What is the first concept? That is inflation's straight opposite we are going to see. This is called as disinflation. So the opposite of inflation is deflation. What is deflation? It is falling down of prices. When the prices are falling, what happens? That reduces the money supply. So when the money supply is reduced, automatically production also decreases. This also leads to unemployment problem. Is it clear? So this we call it as deflation. Another word which we called as disinflation. That is, disinflation is nothing but the slowing down in the rate of inflation. Okay, slowing down, not as inflation. The inflation is being slowing down. Okay, so what happens over here when the inflation is supposed to be coming down? Okay, you have to control the credit transactions. Credit, that is, you're not supposed to give loans for higher purchases. Loans is not to be sanctioned. Okay, so this causes more unemployment here. So disinflation may be defined as a process of reversing inflation. Okay, without what? Without creating unemployment. Without creating unemployment or reducing the output, we are supposed to slow down the rate of inflation. Next concept we are going to see, stagflation. What is usually stagflation? Stagflation refers to slowing down in the economy's growth. Okay, when there is a slowdown in the economic growth, there is reciprocal of other things happening. That is, it leads to high unemployment. It leads to high inflation. When there is a slowdown in the growth and when there is high unemployment and when there is high inflation, this we call it as stagflation. This is supposed to be a book back question and very important question. Next we are going to see the other measures. What are the other measures? Short-term measures. Okay, these measures, what we call it as, is regarded as the public distribution of scarce essential commodities through fair price shops. So how we can distribute the goods? We can distribute it through fair price shops. That is rationing. So in India, whenever shortage of basic goods has been felt, the government will involve in it and try to reduce the inflation. Next is long-term measures. So short-term, government interferes and try to control. What is long-term measures? Long-term measures is nothing but it is accelerating towards economic growth. Okay, what is acceleration? It's nothing but speeding up of the economic growth. So when we are speeding up, what happens? Wage goods, which have direct bearing on the general principles of cost of living. So some restrictions on present consumption may help in improving saving and investment. Okay, so what we are supposed to do? We have to restrict some consumption goods. When we are going to restrict some consumption goods, automatically we can improve savings, and that savings leads to investment. Okay, so there will be an acceleration in the growth of the economy in the long run. Is it clear? In the short term, we are supposed to ration it. In the long run, we are supposed to improve saving as well as investment. Next, we are going to see an important and interesting concept, trade cycle. So every country goes under trade cycle. Each country varies in different levels of trade cycles. So what is trade cycle? It's nothing but the economic activity in a capitalist economy will have a periodic ups and downs. So one country may be at the boom, the other country will be under recession. Some country may be under depression. Some country will be under recovery. So it is ups and downs. Okay. So the study of these ups and downs in the business cycle, we call that as a trade cycle, or we call it as industrial fluctuation. Business cycle, trade cycle, industrial fluctuations, any way you can call it as. Now, what is the meaning of trade cycle? A trade cycle is nothing but an economic activity in employment, output and income. So trade cycle studies about the economic activity. It studies about the employment, it studies about the output, it studies about the income. So it is due to the inherent contraction and expansion of the elements which emerges the economic activity of the nation. So sometimes there is a contraction, sometimes there is an expansion. Why this happens is because it depends upon which trade cycle the country is under. So the fluctuations are periodical, differing in intensity and change in its coverage. So let us see what is the definition of trade cycle. Surely you should know this definition. A trade cycle is composed of periods of goods trade characterized by rising prices, lower unemployment, percentage altering, with periods of bad trade characterized by falling prices and high unemployment percentages. Okay. So trade cycle, what is a trade cycle? It is composed of periods of goods trade. Good trade characterized by there shall be sometimes rising prices, sometimes, and there will be low unemployment, with period of bad trade. Sometimes we may not be able to export, we may not be able to import also. Okay, sometimes there will be falling prices, sometimes some countries will be having unemployment. This difference only we call it as trade cycle. So any way the economy can be affected, it can be anything. Okay. Next one we are going to see, and this definition is given by J.M. Keynes. The next one is phases of trade cycle. There are 4 different phases of trade cycle: boom, recession, depression and recovery. So now we are going to go each one in detail. So before we could go into the explanation part, you can see on the screen the different phases of trade cycle. You can see this orange line which is called as recession. This part is called as depression. The green upper part we call it as recovery, and the top position we call it as boom. Again, when it comes down, it is recession, it is depression, recovery and boom. So when you draw this diagram, please draw the x-axis and y-axis. Write what is written on the y-axis as well as on the x-axis. Then draw this arrow up and down. Mention recession, depression, recovery, boom. After you mention all those things, you can see in between they have given growth and the growth trend. Okay, that we are supposed to write it in the center. Now, boom, or we call it as prosperity phase. Okay, boom is supposed to be a position where a country is having full employment. That indicates what? They are utilizing their resources to the fullest extent. Okay, they are able to give employment opportunities to everyone. They are able to get good profit. People are able to get good wages. The interest rates are very high. This happens only during the boom period. Okay, so there is high demand. Okay, what demand we are having? That is credit increases. That is people take loans and they improve their business to the fullest extent. This is the goodness of the boom period. The next one is supposed to be recession. Okay, slowing down of the economy. We call this as recession. So we are turning from the boom position, we are coming down. When we are coming down, this is supposed to be recession. So what happens? in the boom period we would have done some mistakes. Okay, wrong investment would have been done. This may be one of the reason why the economy is coming under recession. So then we are going to see investment will reduce, production will slowly come down. Okay, income and profit will also start declining during the recession period. So there is suppose the stock market may be hit because of that. Then people would like to have money in their hand because they know that the economy is coming under recession. Next we are going to see depression. So during depression, what is happening? There is very slow economy progress. That is extremely, it has gone down to the greatest extent, or we call it as it is at the lowest level. So what is happening during that period? The economy is not able to get up. Why? Because the business has come down. Okay, and unemployment has increased to the greatest extent. Okay, interest, profit, wages, everything is very low during the period, and wages are very badly hit. And what happens? Even banking institutions cannot give you loans during the depression period. So this is the worst phase of the trade cycle. This we call it as a trough, because it's the deepest point in the business cycle. And what happens? Any person fell down in this deeps would not be able to come up again. Okay, the economy is very badly hit during depression. Okay, and this, what happens during this period? You cannot do any, you can advocate some autonomous investment that the government only can do, but there is no source of income for the government during this depression period. It has to make its investment from the past savings. Next we are going to see recovery. During recovery, slowly the economy is getting up. Suppose you fall sick, what do we do generally? We take medicine. Okay, and 1-2-3 days when we take the medicine, what happens? Slowly our body starts activating. Better, again it comes up. So an economy is also like that. After the depression, when it's going to recover, it is slowly moving upwards. What is happening? There is a slight change in demand. Capital is little bit, there is a hiring in the capital goods. Okay, automatically investment starts slowly picking up. Okay, there is little bit of more production. You can expect profit, but not to the greatest extent as we have seen in the boom period. Income is increasing, wages are increasing, employment have started slowly increasing during the recovery period. Again I say, it is slowly upcoming during that time. So recovery may be initiated by innovations, or you can make investment, and this can be done by the government. We call it as autonomous investment. During the recovery period, government can pump out some investments into the economy. So we have some important notes to the students. Currency is created by RBI and Union government. Bank deposits are created by commercial banks and cooperative bank. The demand for money is determined by the number of factors such as income, price level, interest rate, etc. So this we come to the end of this particular chapter. So go through the slides once again, try to understand and learn the concepts. Thank you very much. So those who are watching this channel for the first time, please like, subscribe, and please comment your views in the comment box.